Friends and family, thank you for joining me here at the American News Network with Chris Sanders. We have 3 U.S. Navy ships heading down to Venezuela, as well as a submarine. Also last night, the Ukraine suffered a very deadly blow by a new weapon from Russia. Russia moves in new gear to Kaliningrad, also destroys the United States Patriot systems and NATO's most recent missile base. As well as we have a new alliance that is geared up against Israel. It's not Hamas. Hamas has been proven to be some sort of Israeli word that they're using. It is Hezbollah. We have over 50 nations that are being unified by this time Turkey, Erdogan, the enemy, Benjamin Netanyahu. Even on the streets of Israel, we have the Israeli IDF. They know who the war criminal is. We have $5.3 billion to a ICC war criminal. Our pathway to peace has been diminished because I thought we voted for Trump, but apparently for some reason Netanyahu wants us to believe that all children that are not Jews are trash. If that works for you, then you have a pretty interesting spin on the Bible. But what I wanted you to know is that Maduro is getting all of his cojones ready. And he's got a lot of people, but are they for him? And are we fighting the right forces? I would say we're not. I would say that Venezuela is actually not an enemy of the United States, and this is much more of an easier path to victory than what we're doing. So we have a submarine, we have a lot of things out there, we have warships that are in place right now, and it looks like we're going to be invading Venezuela. And we were pushed out by God once. Hurricane Aaron said, "Go, get out of here." So now our base is in Puerto Rico. Everything that's within a 600-mile radius is on the spectrum. We have China coming into play, not Russia, not like you'd think, because now we have Trump and Putin talking. Now, why does China care? Well, China cares because this is about not just oil, but that Panama Canal. We need to kick China out of the Panama Canal, kick them out immediately on both sides. And when we do, this will safeguard the citizens of Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan, because they're trying to be boisterous with the Strait of Taiwan. And so we need to be equally as possessive with what the peanut farmer gave away. And that would be President Carter, the peanut farmer, as he gave away the Panama Canal. And I want to remind everybody that was created by President Teddy Roosevelt on a horse in days before we had automobiles. 38,000 Americans died, killed by mosquitoes, so that we could protect both shores and trade with the United States of America, only to have that dissuade. So these ships are going there to stand up for that. Do we need a war with Venezuela? The answer is no. We need Christian convoys to Venezuela, Cuba, because there is a stronger force than our government at play here that can win for the people of Estados Unidos. And it's en el nombre de Jesus. And through the cielo, you can see the ray of God. And so what I'm saying is through Jesus, because we know that Venezuelans are not our enemies. How can we attack Venezuela and have some sort of alliance in Saudi Arabia and these other countries is beyond me. And you too. And I'm going to tell you, we're facing a narco war with Mexico, and I was wondering about the whole entire problem or how this could be. Because mis huevos en tu manos, Simón. But you see, there's not a Mexican president. Sheinbaum is, in fact, their first Jewish lady president. And I would let you know that that has something to do with the turnaround of the cards in the chess game that we're looking at. So we have now, of course, the masters of deception. And Putin said that he could place missiles in our backyard, perhaps even with Mexico and Nicaragua. And isn't that quaint? While Mexico has turned into Jeffrey Epstein Island 2.0. But that's okay. Just ask JFK. Just ask Martin Luther King, RFK, and they didn't want Israel to have the Samson option. What is the Samson option? That is to where if things look bad for Israel and their political party, they can hit a button and kill everybody on the planet with the nuclear bomb. Did you know that? Again, it's called the Samson option. This is where Netanyahu can press a button and simultaneously blow up every other country on the planet. Did you know that? I'm bringing that to your attention because the Soviet Union and Russia then agreed not to put that option on the table with America. We both agreed not to do that. Did you know that? But then as of today, Operation Dead Hand has been reactivated. So this is where Putin basically can do the same thing. If America or Israel gets out of hand, he can hit a button and take out the whole entire planet. But the difference is he actually has the toys to do it. So the United States Armada surrounds Venezuela. We have a $50 million bounty on Maduro. And I don't know if we're going to use 23andMe or Ancestry.com, but I think Pam didn't care if she said he came in dead or alive because he's responsible for the fentanyl coming into the United States. I would say Maduro, huh? Why not the Jewish president of Mexico? Or is that because we have some sort of alliance now? Because I see certain countries messing with America more than any other, being China, being Israel, at the fall and the crumble of NATO, which is good in the EU, but at the cost of all those beautiful European countries. So the next one on the list that we have that could happen is, is Germany going to fall? He's turning into Putin's friend. Is France going to fall? Well, it's fallen. And the United Kingdom, you need to have a revolution of sorts. We need to arm those indigenous people of England and especially of Ireland so that they can take back their countries, or you're just a memory. You've let in another foundation that is wiping away the pillars of what created your own. And remember, as I said, the darkness does not understand the light. We are built on a foundation of love because in our faith, someone cared about us so much that they died for us so that we could be saved. And it was perfection when perfection came. And I'm just trying to let us all know that as we slide into something, and there are forces at play. So I see BlackRock going into Haiti. But they go into Haiti, and I want you to know that, America, they go into Haiti after they abandoned the Ukrainian rebuild in continuation because of the exposure. So BlackRock abandons the Ukraine, the rebuild plan, and this is BlackRock Incorporated, and they've quietly withdrawn from their role in a proposed multi-billion-dollar Ukraine development fund. People familiar with the matter said that they lacked investor interest, and probably because the whole world's getting kind of pissed off at them. Also, in another case in Texas that I'd like to say the world is responding to the industrialization and the military industrialization conflict. So America was pretty much renegated by BlackRock and Smart Street and all that. And so in Texas, we had a major win because BlackRock wanted to dominate the energy sector. This directly competes with us in the oil and gas business. So I'm standing up for every American oil and gas operator in the United States. We cannot have BlackRock in our sector. It should be up to the independent oil and gas operator, natural gas producer in America, to be responsible, to be in charge of data centers. I don't mean cutthroat little turd-ass landmen that don't know what a lease is, but a real operator that understands how to do a workover, how to fix downhole problems, how to also drill new wells, but then fix those old wells so that you can keep everybody employed out in the field. I'm talking about you, old-timer. Are you like me? Get off your couch because the nation, they need guys like us. And we're not making much, but we're going to be making bullets. Some members of the DuPont family reached out to me. Dallas, Fort Worth is going to be taken off. Thank you, Chris. The mighty Flossie Cracker, Sean Lilly DuPont. And we will be rocking and rolling also. Brock Pierce is making some revolutionary movements. And our good old buddy Joby Weeks. When is the United States going to stop attacking businessmen? Because Trump wasn't the first one. They came after me in the gas company. Then when other Coinbase and crypto founders and brilliant men like Joby were creating stuff, they went after him too. So we need to have our judges stop demonically renegading our businessmen. Trump's not the only one. We have tremendous businessmen throughout America that are being attacked by judges. And I say this because did you know that alligator Alcatraz, here President Trump sets it up, here Ron DeSantis sets it up, only for it to be slammed down into ashes by some sort of judge. So since when did judges and local judges and even federal judges trump the executive branch? Weren't they three equal branches of government? The judicial, the executive, and legislative. So how would one judge in a judicial branch trump the entire executive branch? Well, it's an abuse of power as far as the people of the United States are concerned. And any judge that tries that to go against the President of the United States should be hereby immediately disbarred, says the people of the United States of America. You can't have one judge take it upon himself or herself to have so much an abuse of a power, whereas they think that they completely can manhandle and destroy the executive branch. It doesn't work that way. To the people of the United States, we would need 100% alliance of every judge you have in the judicial branch, just to equal the word of the President of the United States. That's what three equal branches mean. That means his word is equal to all of you judges in unison. Same thing with legislative, same thing with Congress, and the thing that has ruined our country is the gerontocracy of old folks, because we don't have term limitations as our president slides into 80, and we needed the experience, but he's aging. And I pray for every decision that he makes and for renegade politicians to be dealt with swiftly and firmly. We need Adam Schiff in prison. We need Jasmine Crockett. We need Al Green. All these people that are going against our system, that are acting like renegades to promote instability. Anybody that exposes ICE agents, police officers, they need to be dealt with because it's a constitutional violation which incites riot. Okay? Also, when they want to call it a sanctuary city, they're making a constitutional violation by destroying peace and tranquility, therefore violating the Constitution. The people of the United States hereby order President Trump, as you have moved the kind of what appears to me to be the beginnings of martial law. And if you see, it's not just conservative states. So we have a kind of an underhanded martial law going on because we're sliding into World War III. And the cards are set. The main instigator in the whole entire scenario is Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, as we follow him into any situation. And just yesterday, Egypt bombed Israel. So we're going to have all 50 countries, and what this is going to create in America, it's going to expedite it, and that's the jihad in America. And the question is there a problem with you and I? Or is their problem with the oldest pagan cult in America, namely those that are Zionistic? You see, because real Arabs don't have a problem with real Jews. Real Arabs and real Jews have a real problem with Zionists. And most of them seem to be European, Polish type of Jewish people from the Ukraine that have migrated into Palestine, believing that they have a right to take over all of the land that's south of them because of how they have manipulated the simple-minded Christians in America. And they'll take a sentence in the beginning of when God was talking to Abraham and not understand that the book should be read from the beginning to the end. And then it was about the life of when perfection came in the name of Jesus. And even today, the Jews and the Romans, who I'll regard as the Roman Catholics, they are still holding the strings which divide us. They are not saved. We are seeing our Navy stopped by a hurricane, and we need to understand that God shall win. I'm asking us to, instead of to send the Navy down, let's apprehend Maduro, and let's send a lot of food down to Venezuela. And let's drill it. Let's give them a lot of money. Let's rebuild their infrastructure. Let's do that for Suriname. Let's do that for the Christian northern countries of South America, and bind us together in the name of Jesus, and understand that He's back, He's won, He's in all of us, and we do not need to fight other Christian countries. To the people of China, it's not like I have a problem with the Chinese by any means. I have a problem with communism, and your leader, Xi Jinping, is that final bit of cancer that we need to get out through the world. I could also say for little Kim, as he defends his people, as he's lost people with Putin, but I'm not going to pick sides with him, because I know crystal clear that our enemy is China. And so, President Trump, I pray that you can play your game of chess, and how we'll do it, I don't know. I know something, though, that as we are deploying troops down to Venezuela, Putin is deploying the Oreshnik missile to where it can take out every single capital immediately within Europe. Operation Dead Hand has been established. All of these factors have been established. We have Israel now killing 245 Christian journalists, over 2,000 Muslim journalists, but that doesn't make the figures, and I want you to know that. Okay, they would rather tell you that aliens are approaching the earth more so than the truth. And that's just tragic news for everybody. Towards the end, look at this gigantic book I got right here. It's a pretty big one. This is my new book. This is The Emperor Wears New Clothes. And it's a 500-page book written by yours truly right here. And it's got a lot of information, and it is a must-read. It's available on Amazon. If you want to just go there, you type The Emperor Wears No Clothes, Christopher Sanders. And the paperback, or the digital copy, you can start reading today for free. Those that don't have a membership, I think it's $6. So this 515-page book here is $20 on paperback and $30 for the hardcover. And so it goes into a deep dive. The end of it, I think, is very interesting. You might appreciate it because I have a healing herbs section. So all the plants that I think that are beneficial for parasite control or for just anti-cancer purposes, like I used with my mother, I put in here. And as far as the air-to-water system, what we did with Sustainable Angels, that is also in here. A lot of basically different things that we could use to get along with each other. I feel that we're all fighting over energy, so I go over air-to-water, hydrogen power, and hydrogen concepts for livestock such as cattle and chickens, and even converting your air conditioning systems in other areas where you don't have good water so that you can turn your air conditioning system into something that can produce you literally about 20 gallons a day. Now the trick here is to stay cold, and the colder you keep yourself, the more water that you can produce for yourself at home. And then, of course, it's basically the conditions of your breathing air. And then you can also, if you're in a city that's very toxic, you can run it through a reverse osmosis. But this water doesn't have chlorine, it doesn't have lye, and it's also alkalized. So it's better for you in many different ways, and I want to share that with people, and so that's in the book here. As far as the 245 journalists that have died, as far as the base camps, I just want you to know here I've gone to New Mexico Military Institute and also Texas A&M University, and a couple of officers that came from Texas A&M and NAMI have been hired, as far as even colonels, to do humanitarian aids in Gaza, and they have reported back to me and other news networks that they've been shocked. They're using razor wire. This is not in compliance with anything that we're doing, and they're basically murdering the people of Gaza. This has been reported back to me from people that I have known since college, and we're family, and when they report back to me, I'm reporting this directly to you. And so we have been outraged and shocked. Everything that Netanyahu is saying is a lie. And the biggest question that our offices are asking is, how can we allow a dual passport situation where we can let Jews go into Israel, sign up for the IDF, literally murder hundreds of Palestinian people, and then just fly back into the United States as if nothing has happened? Do you want people guilty of war crimes flying back into the United States back and forth? Furthermore, do you think that Congress, all of our members of Congress, should hold dual passports? I think that they have violated their Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, because it says it's one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And because they don't have a passport with just one country, it's not indivisible anymore. And because of that, we don't have liberty and justice for all. They took out God, they took out liberty, and they're not playing games just to our country. For every politician that's flown the Ukrainian flag and the Israeli flag, you're hereby fired because of your oath and allegiance, and because you have failed your pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And that goes along with the good news of our president making it illegal to burn the flag. And I've always said this: if you burn the flag in front of a veteran and he takes your lights out and distinguishes your sorry little bit of humanity, that he deserved to do that, because he's got a lot of friends that aren't around here today so that you can be free because of that flag. I never swore an oath to anything except my Constitution, and I speak for a lot of us that my oath is to my country and to my Bible and to every little child that we have to love together, because Jesus told me that's the way it's supposed to be. So Russian drones destroy Ukrainian vehicles in South Donetsk, and within the last night I know we had 600 Ukrainians die, but the new figures, 4,400 Ukrainian troops have been killed just recently. And so don't think there's not serious tragedy. We need to remove Zelensky, our puppet, from the United States immediately. Even if we establish a Russian puppet, there won't be a complete genocide happening for the people of Ukraine. Russia claims a massive battlefield gain in Luhansk. Over 4 T-400 Ukrainian troops were wiped out, and Leopard tanks, ammo depots, troop positions destroyed. Russian forces boast a decisive advance on the front. Kiev reels in one of the heaviest blows of the war. And like I said, they used the Biden administration so that they could suck us dry, test our equipment, and have the upper hand going into this administration. We need to come back home. We need to safeguard the Panama Canal. We need to help free the people of Venezuela. We need to give them jobs in exchange for food and love. And we need to treat our neighbor the way that we want to be treated ourselves. And last I checked, we're not doing that. We voted for peace. And in no way does that mean Netanyahu. I pray for the people of Israel that are standing for their rights, and we will see a unification in everything. But we have a preparation going on. We have explosions that have going on. We have, again, the closing of Alligator Alcatraz. Is there internal terrorism? I want to say that, in my opinion, all of these fires we could use as suspect from illegal aliens or people that don't have the same faith as we have, and they're using it as terror against the United States of America. We need to be on top of this and be on top of it directly. This was the Roseland plant explosion. This happened a couple days ago in Louisiana, but this is happening too common. And in many cases, we're finding that we're just being inundated. Even if we got rid of all the illegal aliens that are on the road, it would clean up the congestion. And look at Los Angeles today versus when you had so many illegal aliens out on the street. They're afraid of getting apprehended at every stoplight. They're taking 2 extra seconds, and that's congesting the entire nation. They don't know the concept of insurance, so when you hit an illegal alien, we're completely found to be exposed for harm. And as such, our government is violating the general welfare of the United States of America, and that's a constitutional violation. So again, these explosions are happening. They're happening all the time. I want to remind America about all those deadly chemicals that have been missing from the trains. And if we have any sort of terroristic action that happens, I'm going to say, don't blame Palestine. Don't blame the Muslims. Blame the same people that killed Kennedy. Blame the same people that killed Martin Luther King. Blame the same people that might have been related to the OKC bombing, the ones that were definitely related to 9/11. And you're going to find that the CIA and the FBI have been working with Mossad and the Jews. And it's time for that relationship to end so that we can finally be a nation of peace and love. My name is Chris Sanders. I'm praying for the people of Israel to elect a rabbi that follows the Pentateuch, because we are sick and tired of these war Zionists that follow the Talmud. And you've definitely become the synagogue of Satan. I've exposed that, because every child molester in the world can take safe harbor now if they're a Zionistic Jew in Israel. Did you know that? Please like, please share, please subscribe, and if you need to know that verse in the Bible, it's Revelation 2:9-9, and it's happening today. Know that. God bless you, and amen. And just, again, look at our country here. This is something very horrible for the environment that's gone on here. And it's just tragic for our country. This is just a live update. I just wanted to give you two. Sorry for coming in. This was on Local 10, Florida. What we have here is the destruction of Alligator Alcatraz, where we have local governments, and again, that judge going against President Trump. I also wanted to establish that we have judges. If you look at the percentages of judges that are tied into Israel, we've been taken over. If you want to look at Mexico and the way they stand, it is not for Mexico, and we have an allegiance, and Nicaragua and Mexico are playing tandem to where we could be looking at nuclear bombs close by into the United States. And should that be right? So a judge has ordered Alligator Alcatraz to be shut down because she's more powerful than Ron DeSantis and President Trump combined, and I wanted the American public to know that. That's an abuse of law by the judicial branch. It must end, and this is something that we have to understand. So again, World War III seems like it has started because we have an official war. We have 4,400 people immediately dead in the Ukraine, heaviest day. And we have Maduro officially declaring war on the United States of America, and that's just fine, because I would too if Pam Bondi put a $50 million bounty on my head. So anybody in Venezuela that just wants to ship him over here to Texas will be gladly to receive Maduro And then let's get to drilling that oil. My name's Chris Sanders. I'm getting ready to drill, baby, drill, and I'd love to drill Venezuela and then ship a whole bunch of corn and oats and barley and Bibles down there and start a great relationship, because most of the people of Venezuela are pretty darn nice people that I've met, actually. Don't judge them just for the criminals that they've sent here. All right. God bless all of you. I'll talk soon. Leave a comment down below, because that's how we spread information. Pray for our troops that are on their way down there. Let's pray this doesn't get out of control. I'll bet that somehow they're going to apprehend Maduro, and that'll be the end of it. If not, well, this is political theater. It's going on both sides, and that's a shame. And you haven't seen a lot from me so much, because the way the Epstein files were handled, well, that's a shame too. And I think you know what I'm talking about. God bless each and every one of you.